David, thank you very much for joining us. First of all, how are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. I've had my COVID jab today, so I'm bracing up to it. Yep.
Excellent. So you must be excited at the return of football after a number of months with so much uncertainty around the league season. What are you able to tell us about the challenges the club faced to get us back to where we are today?
Yeah, absolutely delighted to see us back on Saturday. It seems like it's been a long time coming around. We've had some challenges along the way. Obviously, the government and the GRG gave us permission to commence the season, but that was really only the start of it, because clearly we had quite a number of games to go to finish with all 27. So it was quite apparent early on in the process that we weren't going to be able to complete the 27-game season. That then kicked off a huge round of debate with the first and second division clubs on how we could facilitate an end to this league campaign. Lots of different opinions. Worryingly, there was quite a number in there that were of a mind that we just null and void the season, which we clearly weren't. That wasn't certainly our preference, and it took a real few backwards and forwards meetings to come up with a plan to take to the SPFL. That plan originally was declined, and it was pushed back to us, and we then had to come up with the proposal that sits in front of us just now, with the 18 games subject to completion by the 23rd of April, and then we split into a top and bottom, and that in turn needs to be finished by the 6th of May in order to meet the championship playoff dates. So there was a lot of work involved in that. But the other thing we need to be mindful of is that this virus hasn't gone away, even though we're now back playing football. Christine's worked incredibly hard putting the protocols in place that we need to adhere to. And, obviously the safety of our staff and players is always mindful and at the front of what we're doing. So it seems quite a long way to get back. So I'll be delighted when I see the boys run out on Saturday.
Obviously, in the last week, we've been able to strengthen the squad with 3 loan signings, but how difficult has the planning element of that been for the club without a playing schedule, and certainly up until last week, without knowing when we were going to be back? How difficult has it been for the club in terms of recruitment?
Yeah, well, it was tricky rather than difficult. I mean, obviously, we were working hard behind the scenes to try and identify the players that we were keen to bring in. I mean, obviously, Cammy leaving earlier in the season, we were a little bit light on the goalkeeper side of things, so we were always working behind the scenes to do that. Obviously, bringing in Luca and bringing in Sal, I think a couple of cracking additions to the squad. Given the intensity of games that are going to come up, we were playing practically Saturday midweek, Saturday. That's that everybody in the squad's going to have to play their part in it. But likewise, we couldn't go too early because we couldn't give an ultimate commitment that we were definitely coming back. But the minute we got word through, Ray was able to speak to the boys in question, and we got them signed and sealed. So I'm excited about those guys coming in to join the club.
And off the field, over the last couple of months, our new chief executive Leanne's come into post in January officially. How's that worked? How's Leanne settled in? And I'm presuming it's been a very busy period for her and the rest of the committee.
Yeah, I feel like Leanne's settled in very well. I mean, obviously she's come with vast experience in her previous roles at Motherwell and Hibs. There's been no shortage of things for her to get stuck into in the short term. Her and Christine have formed quite a really strong partnership, and we're going about trying to change some things around about the club. I've spoken about this to some people before, and what I liken it to is when we made the decision to turn professional on the park, that was relatively straightforward, because all we then did was go and sign players that we knew we would have to pay a wage for. But the bigger challenge for Queen's Park will be how we professionalise ourselves off the park, and how we become a really sustainable business. We need to grow our business. We need to grow our revenues. We need to grow our supporter base. So these are the things that Leanne, when we met with her before her appointment, was very strong on, and work is well underway on how we nail down some of these initiatives as we go forward.
And I suppose just probably links into that, the club's recently advertised the position of the executive director of the Charitable Trust. How much can you tell us about that role, and how you hope the clubs hope the Charitable Trust will work with the club going forward?
Yeah, I've had some feedback on that, and the thing to bear in mind here is that the Charitable Trust element of Queen's Park has been around for quite some time now. It was set up under the guidance of Jim Hastie and Jim Nicholson, and it's been on the go for a number of years. The only thing I would say is if there's a I suppose a criticism, we were a relatively small outfit with regards to back office staff, just basically trying to do the day-to-day roles. Leanne's experience in this area is considerable, and what we've now been able to do is identify the opportunities that we want to try and capitalise on. So by expanding the charitable organisation, what we see is a means of really participating in our community, getting close to the people of the South Side and surrounding areas of Glasgow, getting them to feel a part of this club, because our investigations would suggest that that's how you grow a supporter base, and that's how you drive your revenues. And when you look around the club, you don't have to go that far. You look at the fantastic facilities that are down at Tory Glen. You look at areas around the Queen's Park Rec. You look at the schools that are in the area, and the development work we can do with these guys, and that will be the aim of the charity. We hope that we will, particularly in this city where there's a real allegiance obviously towards the old firm, we hope that we can make some inroads in trying to attract a new dimension and breed of Queen's Park supporters. So there's nothing untoward in that. As I've seen a few comments or heard a few comments. So again, that should be seen as a really exciting development in the club as we look to a really sustainable model that we can where the benefit, of course, of that is our ability to fuel the football side of the business. So I see that as a really exciting development.
And I suppose touching on development, this is a question I asked Leanne last week when I spoke to her. How much are you able to tell us about the current state of play with regards to the redevelopment at Lesser Hampden?
Lesser Hampden, I mean, clearly we have some challenges. There are some issues around that. Obviously, the process which we are in the middle of is fairly heavily caveated around legal procedure, and there's really not too much we can add to that. I mean, what we hope is that we can reach a resolution in early course, and once we've done that, we'll make a more detailed and thorough give a more detailed and thorough explanation to the members and the supporters. But but certainly that continues to be a challenge.
And just finally, there's obviously some uncertainty as to where we'll finish the season with our home games. Are you able to give any clarity on that today?
Yeah, we've made some progress on that. I mean, obviously, as part of the sale agreement for selling Hampden to the SFA, the 31st of March was always the kind of backstop of when we would be expected to vacate the stadium. We've been in discussions with the SFA right up until as the very last minute to see if there was any opportunity to continue the season there. Unfortunately, given the upcoming internationals, the scheduling of the Euros, semi-finals and finals of Scottish Cups, which are now penciled in, that's not been possible. So in conjunction with the coaching staff, we've looked at some of the options that are available, and it looks like we're going to finish the season with our home games playing at Broadwood. Just felt that the surface there is a bit more conducive to our style of play and the size of Broadwood as well. To help with that, we're going to let the boys train up there a couple of times just to familiarise themselves with the facility up there, and that's where we'll look to finish the season. On that point, one of the positives to come out of the League 1 and 2 collective effort to get us back to playing is that there was an element of camaraderie where we've all agreed to help each other out, and as much as that, if any games look like they may be postponed, perhaps on a grass surface, then some of the clubs with AstroTurf pitches have offered their help to host those games, because it is a tight schedule to get us through the remainder of the season. So as I say, a bit of camaraderie there between the clubs, but it'll be good to get back to business as usual come Saturday afternoon.
You mentioned Saturday afternoon. I suppose from a football perspective, it's important, given the aspirations we've got this season, that we look to hit the ground running, and that starts against Stranraer. I
watched the boys on Monday over at in a kind of bounce game at Hamilton. I thought they looked fit. I thought they looked relatively sharp, and I think we'll be looking to come out and pick up where we left off. However, in fairness, I mean, I've had some dealings with the Stranraer directors over the last few weeks, and they'll be equally up for this one, coming to the top of the league. So we expect a real tough challenge, and we'll need to be on top of our game. But yeah, it would be good to kick off by getting back to winning ways. That's for sure.
David, thank you very much for joining us. That's excellent.